Hi, and welcome to Pod C. I'm Mrs. Swilger.
I'm Mrs. Kerwinski.
And I am Mrs. Bailey, and together we have created a presentation to share with you, to share about our year here at Wilson with the students. Here we go. So again, this is 6C at Woodrow Wilson. Myself, Mrs. Kerwinski, and Mrs. Swoger are the teachers on the team. A little bit about myself. I am Mrs. Bailey. I was born and raised in Erie, PA. I have been here my entire life. I went to Edinburgh University where I got my first certificate in middle level education for both science and social studies, but that middle level education gives me the ability to teach 4 through 6 as well. I also have my reading certificate as well. I have been in the district for 7 years. I started at Roosevelt. I even did my student teaching there prior to being hired. I was at Strong Vincent for 2 years, and now I'm finally here. I found my home here at Woodrow Wilson. I do have pictures. I have my 2 little boys. The little one is Cole. My older one is Caden. They are Trouble, and I do have a little dog at home named Rocco.
I am Mrs. Kerwinski, or Miss K. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Erie as well. I am a graduate of Erie Public Schools, so I did from kindergarten to 12th grade. I attended several different Erie Public Schools. I attended Gannon for college, where I received my bachelor's degree in elementary and special education. I have been teaching for 7 years, and this is my 2nd year here at Wilson.
I am Mrs. Swilger. I was also born and raised here in Erie, Pennsylvania. I went down to the Indiana University of Pennsylvania down by Pittsburgh to get my degree in elementary and special education. I've been teaching at the Erie Public Schools for 14 years, and I have done all 14 years here at Wilson. Go Presidents, I love it here. This is my home.
So what we're going to do is we're going to share a little bit about our classes. We're going to go over the general layout so you understand what your students are doing every day, what to expect for schoolwork during class, what we'll provide for homework, and materials if needed. I'm going to start with math. So I teach math and science for the pod. And in math class, we start the day with a daily check-in. That's kind of our way of checking in with the kids, seeing where they're at. If they need help with anything, or, if there's something bothering them, we'll reach out and see, do they want some advice from a friendly neighbor? We also do a bell ringer. We are doing the Ready Math curriculum. That is our new math curriculum this year. We were doing that in our lesson, but I found out that was taking too much time away from the lesson. So the Ready Math has become part of their homework assignment if we don't get to it. I'll explain that in a minute. But we're going to do the Ready Math curriculum. They were given 2 books. We do our instruction with those books. They'll have some independent practice. And then if we have time at the end of the lesson, we'll do iReady. And if we don't get to the iReady, they do have to do it for homework, and the goal is for 15 minutes a day. What the iReady is, you may be familiar. They started it in 5th grade. It's new to the curriculum for 6th grade. What it does is they took a diagnostic test at the beginning of the school year, and now it's created a learning path for them. So they have tailored instruction specifically for them. So it's really important because it helps them to build on their weaknesses so they can get stronger as they learn the new material. So those foundational math skills are really important, and that iReady time gives them practice to work on that. Materials for class, they were already given their math books. They were also given a laminated graph paper, which we have already used. And those materials were found in their drawstring book bag that they were given when they came to collect materials. One thing that I do ask, if they don't already have it, is a notebook just for math. When we do the bell ringer every day, and when we're working in our Ready Math curriculum books, they don't have scrap paper. So I would really appreciate if they had a notebook that they can just keep all of their math items in that notebook. If they have one notebook for all their subjects, everything gets mixed around. So if they could find a notebook just for math, that would be perfect. That's all they need. For homework, I am giving them a 5 to 10 question math practice assignment. This is located in my homework folder. On my Schoology page, there is a purple homework button that they can click on, and you should see the assignments right in there. If for some reason they haven't done their homework assignments, they can always go back and turn them in at any time. But they will have 1 weekly math assignment, And then they will also have their iReady minutes if we did not get to that in class. So they would have 2 things for math every night. The 15 minutes a day, so like this week we have a 5-day week, they would get a 75-point classwork grade for iReady in the grade book. And if they're missing those points, we can't go back and, reshuffle the points from week to week. So we need to make sure they're earning those 75 points or 60 points, however the math works out for the days of the week that we have class, because that's a lot of points to be missing if they're not completing it. So if you have any questions about the iReady curriculum, please feel free to reach out. And I'm going to continue talking because I also teach science. In science, our daily schedule goes as follows. We do a bell ringer, which is going to be sometimes a question. I will have a presentation and the ability for them to take notes. I'm still working on the science curriculum because we have to create it all virtually. So it's a work in progress. In the fall, we are learning about energy conservation and resources. Come winter, we're going to transition to more of that earth and space science, and we're going to focus on the sun, earth, and moon, as well as learn about our solar system. In the spring, they're going to transition to chemical interactions, which is like chemistry. So every day I'm going to try to give them some kind of presentation and then some kind of independent work to work on. And I'm going to try to have an exit ticket, some kind of little quick check to see if they understood what we did for the day. Materials that they would need for science. It says class materials will be provided using Google Docs, Google Slides, various websites, and provided readings. So they were not given anything in their drawstring book bag for science. Everything that they'll need, I will be providing through Schoology. And those materials are going to be found in the materials folders that are labeled by the week. So if they go to my Schoology page and they scroll down, they'll see week 1 materials, week 2 materials. Right now, we are currently on week 4. I do ask that they have a notebook just for science. So just like a notebook for math, I'm hoping that they can have a writing space specifically for science. And that notebook will be used for answering bell ringers, perhaps, or for taking notes. Or sometimes if we have technology problems and they can't open up a Google Doc that I share with them, they can then have a resource ready to go that they can take notes on. And lastly, homework in science is also going to be 1 assignment, given Monday, due Friday, same as math. A math assignment assigned Monday, due Friday. The science homework is going to be like scientific method review questions. I anticipate at the beginning of the year, they're going to struggle with it, but as the year goes on, it'll be a lot easier for them. But again, that is located also under the homework folder.
All right, so I am Mrs. Kerwinski again. So language arts, I have compiled everything that we do into specific folders in Schoology that are pretty specific. So there are a lot of folders, but it has shown me that that is the easiest way for your kids to access all of the materials that they need. So our daily agenda, we start every language arts class with the literacy board, and that consists of 5 to 6 questions that have to go off of a certain passage. So they receive a passage on day 1, and all of their questions are centered around that passage. After they have completed the literacy board, we do review it as a class. So they are given all of the answers. So each day, there's 5 days. They fill out a different form each day. And on the 5th day, they turn it in for classwork points. So that is 30 points. Because we do go over it in class and they are given all the correct answers, they should be receiving 30 out of 30 as long as they submit it for the week. After our literacy board, we do have a daily lesson. So on Mondays, the kids receive a words to know list. There's a different list each week, and that consists of anywhere from 13 to 15 words. Where we actually go over all of the words and their prefixes and their suffixes and what each of the words means. On Fridays, we test on those words. So each day throughout the week, we do touch base on some of those words to know. Those words are used to help the kids become better readers and to break the words apart to learn all of those affixes and root words to help them as time goes on. If we're not doing words to know or a test, then we work on comprehension. So it could be anything in our grammar book or our comprehension books, but there is a daily lesson each day. And the last thing that we do in language arts for the day is accelerated reading. So I have made it a point to try to make 20 minutes of class time at the end for the kids to do accelerated reading. If they do not have the ability to have the 20 minutes of class time, then it does carry over for homework. So what accelerated reading is the kids took a diagnostic test where they had to answer questions to give them a specific ZPD or reading level. And the students have to pick books within their reading level. When they complete the reading from their reading from the book, they take a quiz and they earn points. So they're given a AR goal for the quarter, and they have to meet that goal for the quarter in order to move on, so to speak. All of the kids have been given all of the materials that they need in their AR folder. There's videos in there, directions step by step how to complete everything, whether it is finding the book level of a book. I have prepared a website and an account for each of the students on Get Epic. So if you don't have access to books at home or the library, they are able to read books on Get Epic. Once they are done with a book, they are asked to complete a 5-sentence summary and submit that before taking a quiz or a test. In order to receive the points for that book, they do need to receive an 85% or higher. And once they receive that grade, then those points start to add up. At the end of the quarter, there are prizes for the different levels that the students are earning through AR. It's a very complex, it's very tough program, but it's worth 250 points of their language arts grade. So the students are required to complete it in order to pass for the quarter. The materials for language arts, there was a handful of things included when they picked up their drawstring book bag. They have a words to know packet, an ELA comprehension packet. There was a grammar workbook, which we won't get to till probably next semester. And then there was also a literature book. There were a couple reference guides, but all of those I do have them uploaded in our Schoology page, so they do have access to those. I have asked the students that if they do not have a hard copy of any of those and they do need them, to reach out to me so that way I can get them in the front office so that someone can pick them up. Homework, like I said, 20 minutes of AR, and they are required to fill out their AR book log nightly. So 20 minutes they need to find to read, whether it's in class, before class, after class, before bed. They need to do 20 minutes of reading each day. And then they just have to study their words to know because the tests are on Friday. And I'm going to continue because I do teach social studies as well. So social studies, we start our day off with the Nifty Thrifty 50 word work. So what Nifty Thrifty 50 is it's kind of like our words to know, so they go hand in hand. The kids receive each month a new list of words, and it's 8 words. We do, in the beginning of the month, we go over the prefixes and the suffixes, the root words, if there's any spelling changes. So it kind of does resort back to words to know, but it helps your students to become better readers in the end. So with the Nifty Thrifty 50 word work, we start it in the beginning of the month and we quiz every Friday, but then there's a test at the end of the month that they are required to know how to spell the words, to define the words, how to use them, and then also identify words that are similar to those Nifty Thrifty 50 words. After we do our NTF word work, we do have a daily lesson. Those daily lessons can include a reading from the book while also taking notes on our graphic organizer. I have compiled all of our notes in a social studies notes folder on Schoology. So each day there is a specific graphic organizer that the kids are following along with to take notes. I do share my screen and project all of the notes, so they are able to fill theirs in as I am filling them in. After class, they are asked to submit those notes for a classwork grade. If they were unable to get the notes, I do upload them in Schoology for them to be able to go back and refer to them. The last 15 minutes of class is asynchronous learning, so that is the time that I give the kids to work on any missing assignments or any homework that we have, or if they're having difficulty with anything, but I try to designate 15 minutes of class for them to kind of gather everything that we've done for the day and ask questions. Our materials, so nothing was sent home for materials for social studies, but they do have access to everything on Schoology. So their world history textbook, their graphic organizers, and their reference guides, everything is online. As far as homework goes, there is a Nifty Thrifty 50 homework assignment that is given on Mondays, and it is due on Thursdays because they do test on Friday. So that gives me time to look over and correct all of the homework and get them the correct answers before the quiz on Friday. And then they are just asked to study Nifty Thrifty 50 words on a daily basis. So that's it.
I am Mrs. Swoger. I am the special education teacher for the pod. So if your student has an IEP, I am around to assist them with the services that are listed in that IEP. Please contact me if you have questions or concerns regarding your student's services. My email address is jswoger@eriesd.org. So you can find it there on the screen, or you can look it up through Schoology as well.
For special help, excuse me, for science and math, if any of our students feel like they're drowning and they can't keep up, my special help will be on Wednesday from 2:45 to 3:10 or by special appointment. So if they can't make it on Wednesday, I can try to meet up with them another day of the week. There is a special help button on each of my class pages, which will direct them to my special help Zoom session.
So special help for language arts and social studies. I have made myself available. I tell the kids that I'm available Monday through Friday from 2:45 to 3:10. A lot of times I have kids let me know throughout the day if they're attending. I do ask if they miss class and they do need to make up any work or a test or a quiz that they join me for special help, and we use that time to make up those tests and quizzes. But your students are encouraged to join if they need to ask questions, they need to make up a test or quiz, they need help with missing work, or they need help with something that they are struggling to understand.
I also have special help sessions. I can meet any day from 2:45 to 3:10. I just need to know that your student would like to attend the special help, so they can send me a chat during class and say, I want to stay tonight for special help, or they can send me an email, and then I will go ahead and jump on that link to join them. In order to find my link, they would click on their courses. They would see a specials course for me, and then once they click on their specials course, there's a button to click the special help link to join my Zoom.
So this year we have noticed that we have an awesome group of kids. You guys have been amazing. The parents have been amazing. We've been in contact with a lot of you already. So there's really not a lot of concerns on our end, but there were some things that we did want to talk about. This looks like a lot, and please, I'm not trying to offend anyone with this. I try to be very simple as possible, but we are encouraging students to log in on time. I know this is hard because a lot of us are working parents and you're not home, or maybe your child is at the Y or they're at somebody else's house. We'll be in contact with you if there seems to be a consistent problem with them logging in on time. Because what happens is students that are continuously late or leaving early, we're going to start noting in Infinite Campus so that we can keep track of, you know, the ones that are doing it consistently. And then we'll know if we need to make any parent contacts from that point. What happens is it does disrupt our lesson because we're constantly updating our attendance. We want to update it because if we forget to, we're going to end up mismarking students absent. So in those absent, times or those tardy minutes, those are going to add up to unexcused days. And just like in school, we wouldn't expect them to skip class or leave class early or attend late. We would be making note of that. So please, we are encouraging that they are on time. If they are continuously, habitually late, we'll be taking notes on that and then making contacts if we deem necessary. And again, we don't want to incorrectly mark kids absent. So really, we want them to be on time. If there's a technical issue, please message either of us. And honestly, you guys have done a great job with that. We've gotten messages from students. We've gotten messages from parents. I just want to reiterate that. If it's a technical problem, let us know. And if we can't fix it, please email epssupport@eriesd.org for further assistance. Again, and I have there, we thank you so much for reaching out to us already, and we need to work together as much as possible during this time. Otherwise, tardy minutes can begin to accumulate and turn into unexcused absent days. And in that event, you guys would need to provide an excuse to the school. If the student is absent because they're sick or there's an appointment, please make sure that you get an excuse either from the doctor or you handwrite one yourself and send it to the school. You can either mail it in, you can send an email, you can fax, or call the school office and you can set up an appointment to drop it off if need be. Lastly, students must log in with their first and last name. We have been lenient with the students with their first name, but if we were to be out and there was a substitute, it's really helpful to have that first name and the last name so they make sure that they're taking attendance correctly. Some students log in with their student numbers or they're just putting random letters in. Not so much, not everybody. Most students are very good about it, but we're asking, please remind your child that they need to log in with their first and last name as their Zoom name and their camera on. Biggest issue we're running into is some students are turning their camera off. If the camera is not on, they could be walking away from the computer and we would have no idea. And essentially that's the same as skipping class if we were in school. So if they were not sitting at their desk and they did not sign out to use the restroom and they're just not here and I don't know, they would be held accountable for that. So please make sure that their camera is on. We understand that there can be things going on at home and they may need to turn it off and we need to be flexible. But please let us know that, the camera shouldn't be off for the entire lesson or every single day. If things come up, we understand. Just send us a message, explain what's going on. Otherwise, the camera should be on. It says if the camera's not on, they could be walking away and we have no idea, and that's about the same as skipping class. Also, we don't know if the camera's off. We don't know who's sitting behind the computer. And really that can lead to a privacy concern on behalf of the other students. We want to make sure that the person in front of the computer is our student. If for some reason they need to turn it off for a minute, we ask that they message us and let us know. We understand that things can come up at home and we need to be flexible, but this should not be an everyday occurrence. Lastly, some students have been eating breakfast at their computer. We do ask that breakfast be eaten before class starts because we run the risk of ruining technology with food and liquids, and we don't want to see anyone, accidentally ruin their computer. I understand we're at home and we want to snack and stuff, but for breakfast, bowls of cereal, let's try to keep that away from the computer as much as we can.
All right. So our last slide just asks that if you do have any questions or concerns that you would like to reach out to any of us about, we have provided our emails for you. So I am Language Arts and Social Studies, Mrs. Bailey is Math and Science, and then Mrs. Swoger has Special Education. All of us are available via Remind. So there is a Remind app that you can join. This is probably the quickest and most efficient way to get in touch with us just because we do receive those on our cell phone. And as most of you know, that's probably the quickest way. I know I don't check my email regularly once I leave school. I kind of try to go home and focus on my kids. So I tell the kids, have your parent or guardian join the Remind app because if you got a question, a concern, anything you need to reach out to us and talk to us about, that Remind app is nice because we get that notification on our phone and we can respond right away. We do ask that if you do join the app, that you send us a message just to let us know who your student is. We've had a great number of parents and guardians join the Remind app so far. I know that we've reached out to some of them. I get messages regularly from a couple parents that just message just to say, hey, this is what's going on in case, you know, my student is not on task today, or if they are late to submitting something. It's nice because sometimes I just send a positive note to some of those parents. Hey, so-and-so is going above and beyond today, and they're doing a really good job. I know some of the kids that I've reached out to, the parents, the kids have messaged me and said, hey, mom said you messaged them and sent a good message. That made her feel really good. So it is nice to be able to have that quick access, because we don't always have the time to write out an email or give the phone calls, because during our prep periods, we are working hard. I know I've taken all of my stuff home every single night, and normally I don't do that because I have kids of my own at home. But we're working while we're in work and while we're at home. So this is the easiest way to get in touch with us. There are 2 different options for joining. If you need help with any of those, like I said, reach out to us, call us, email us, whatever you need to do. I don't know if either of you have anything else you want to add.
No, that's it on our end. So if you have any questions, again, our emails are there, or please join us on the Remind app because it is so quick. All right. Messages pop up. Hey, you know, we can be right in contact with you. So it is very helpful. I think that's all that we have. So hopefully you've enjoyed this presentation. Hopefully we've answered any questions you may have. And we've really enjoyed getting to know your students this year. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.